Hey everyone, Mr. Justin here with the Hernando County Public Library System, and thank you so much for joining us for another science video. And this one's going to be fun today, and all you need for this one is going to be some coins, preferably several coins of one specific type. Today I have nickels and I have pennies, but you could also use a stack of dimes, a stack of quarters, stack of $50 and dollar coins, anything that would be a coin. You're just going to need several of one specific coin. And I have a plastic knife. You can also use a butter knife, but I think the plastic knife is going to work best for this because I can go ahead and make it a little more flexible than you could with a butter knife. And today we are going to be talking a little bit about Newton's first law of motion, which says every object will continue moving at the same speed or remain still unless something else makes a change. So we have these coins right here. We have a nickel, we have a penny, and they're just going to stay still until another force acts upon it and makes it change and makes it move. In case if I flick the penny, that action and that force is going to make it move until the friction against the table is going to stop it. Same thing, this nickel is just sitting here and it's going to stay sitting there unless an outside force changes that and makes it move. Again, my finger can flick it and it's going to change. So you can practice doing that just to see how kind of it shows an example of law of motion. And of course the table and the coin moving against each other will cause friction, so that's why it's not going to move forever. Eventually it's going to slow down and stop because of the friction against the table or the floor or wherever you're doing this. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make a tower of coins. Let's start with nickels. I like nickels a little bit better just because they've got a little more surface space on the side than the pennies seem to, but they're pretty similar. So I'm going to take several nickels, and you can make this into an experiment by trying different coins or also different stacks. I only have 6 nickels here, but if you want to try a higher stack, you could do that too if you want. But you don't want to be too big because it's going to be a little tougher for this experiment to work. And it doesn't work for me every single time I try it, but we'll see. Hopefully it will work today every time we try it. So I have a stack of nickels. I'm going to put it right there on a table. And we're going to take our plastic knife, and we want this edge, the flat edge, to be the side that we are going to be facing the nickels. And the way I like to do it is do it closer to the kind of the edge, because you want this to be as flat as possible. You only want it to hit one coin when you're going to flick it towards the coin. And what we're going to go ahead and do is with the plastic one, I'm also going to kind of bend it a little bit just to make it even more flat, because that seems to be what works best for me. So you have your stack of coins and you have your butter knife, trying to be as flat as we can get it. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to go towards it, and we're going to hit the bottom coin and cause a force, right? Cause an action. Right now we do have a pile of 6 nickels that are sitting all by itself. No force is making a move, so they're going to stay still until an outside force changes that. But what we want to do is when I use the butter knife and when we hit the bottom coin, what's going to happen? Are all the coins going to move? Just one coin going to move? Are they going to fall over? What are we going to have happen? I guess we'll see, right? So we have our butter knife and we have our tower of coins, and I'm just going to go ahead and whack the bottom one and we'll see what happens. Oops. We saw a little bit there, but let's try a little bit more. There we go. If you saw that carefully, our nickel is now off the table. But when we hit that bottom nickel, since that was the only nickel that had the force against it, that was the only one that kind of went flying, and everywhere else, all the other nickels, they didn't have an action put on it, except for there no longer is the space where the other nickel was. So they just went down flat, and they didn't really go anywhere else. Let's see if I can get that to work again, because that was perfect. Let's try it one more time. There we go. There's our second one. Let's try it again. There we go, it's working every time. Oops, I hit that, that was my fault, and then we're left with just one nickel. Now, like I said, you can do that with other coins too, so we'll try it with pennies a little bit. I'm gonna make the tower a little taller, which is gonna be a little trickier, because sometimes if you hit it just in the wrong way, the whole tower might topple over, but let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, hopefully. Let's take those over here. Make that nice and straight, and hopefully we can get this to work. I got 2, but that's okay. Probably because I hit 2 pennies at once, so they both moved. That's why we want to try to keep it flat as possible. There we go, we just got 1 penny out. And then that, I knocked it over because I had a force against that where my knife accidentally hit that, but we had 1 go flying out that way. Let's try it a couple more times. There we go, I think I hit 2 pennies that time. Like I said, the pennies seem to be a little thinner, and so it's easier to hit both with the knife at one point. But as you saw with our stack of nickels and with our pennies, is that when we were able to hit just the bottom coin with our butter knife, only the bottom one, because that was the one that had the force and the change against it, it moved and flew out that way until it stopped because of friction on the table, causing the others to just fall down straight into line because there was no other force pushing it any other way. It's just gonna go straight down, and it's not gonna go with the others because we only hit the 1 bottom nickel with that. So that is an example of Newton's first law of motion, where things will stay moving or stay still until there's an outside action that forces it to change or forces it to move. So I hope you all had fun today. Again, just make sure you get several coins of one type, like I said, several pennies or several nickels or several dimes. Stack it up and make sure you have a nice flat surface and a butter knife, and you can try this fun experiment all by yourself. So I hope you all enjoyed the coin tower trick that helped demonstrate Newton's first law of motion, and a little bit of inertia, and of course friction also. So thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully you can join us next week. Bye everyone.